A beautiful morning in the eastern part of the forest in Dak Lak, the warm yellow sunlight filters through the leaves, creating a brilliant scene. The chirping of birds echoes, and inside the dense forest, Mr. Tan's sawing team is ready for an exciting day of work. Today, their work is more special because of the appearance of the Ponsi saw, a modern machine specially designed to saw and transport trees. Mr. Tan, the team leader, stands next to the Ponsi, with a calm but no less serious look. He checks each part of the machine to make sure everything is working properly. The Ponsi is not only a machine but also the team's main weapon today, helping them cut trees faster and safer. Next to him, his teammates are also busy preparing tools, ready to share the work. Today, we have to try to finish early to avoid the afternoon sun. The sun is beautiful but not pleasant, Tan said to the team, his voice firm but with a hint of humor. The sawing team laughed, but everyone understood what he meant. Sawing trees requires high concentration and strong team spirit. Mr. Hong and Mr. Fong, the two main drivers, were assigned to drive the Ponsi saw. Both were skilled drivers with many years of experience working with specialized vehicles. The others, including Mr. Kwan and Mr. Dung, would be in charge of transporting the trees after they were cut. Their task was to transport the cut trees from the forest to the gathering place, a job that required dexterity and good situation handling. The Ponsi roared. The sound of the machine was strong but powerful, gliding smoothly through the forest trails, heading towards the large ancient trees. Mr. Hong, with his skillful hands, skillfully controlled the vehicle to approach the tall trees. The saw blade rotated on the Ponsi like a sharp knife, gently felling the giant trees in just a few minutes. The first tree shook. Mr. Hong squinted, carefully controlling the crane of the vehicle to lower the tree trunk to the right position. With his sophisticated technique, he controlled the tree falling process without affecting the surrounding trees or endangering his teammates. Mr. Fong stood next to him, observing the process with admiration. "I admit that Mr. Huang's skills are not ordinary," Mr. Fong praised, his eyes shining with pride. Although he was also a good driver, the way Mr. Hong handled the Ponsi still made him feel admiration. Meanwhile, the rest of the team did not stand still. Mr. Dung and Mr. Kwan were ready with trucks, waiting to transport the newly cut trees. Their laughter echoed in the cool morning air, making the hard work more enjoyable. Once the large tree trunks were lowered, Dung and Kwan's task began. They used ropes and cranes to lift each heavy log onto the truck. Each tree trunk was a challenge, but with skill and good coordination, the job went smoothly. "If these fall off the truck, we're all done for," Kwan joked, his face smiling but also full of concentration. Dung nodded, his hands quickly tightening the ropes around the tree trunks. They knew that transporting large logs like this was no joke, and that any small mistake could lead to serious consequences. The trucks full of logs began to roll, slowly leaving the forest. Dung and Kwan continuously went back and forth between the forest and the gathering place, constantly transporting logs. Although this job requires strength and endurance, the atmosphere is always filled with laughter and funny stories. During short breaks, the sawing team often gathers to chat, creating a cheerful atmosphere in the green forest. Mr. Hong, although the main saw driver, does not miss the opportunity to join in on the humorous stories. Last time I cut a tree, I was almost attacked by a swarm of bees and ran away. He recounted a funny memory that made the whole team laugh out loud. Stories about previous work in the forest are always an attractive topic. Each person has their own experiences, and that makes the sawing team more united. Although the work is hard, laughter is never lacking. Mr. Tan, as the team leader, not only directs but also participates in the stories. He often shares his experiences over many years of working in the profession, not lacking in valuable lessons. In this profession, you have to be both skillful and patient. The trees in the forest are not only a source of income, but also the life of the forest, so you have to know how to protect them, he reminded everyone. The sun rose higher, the sunlight was even more dazzling, but in the forest, the shade from the large trees still kept the air pleasant. The sawing team paused to rest and have lunch. They gathered under a large tree, spread out cloths to sit. Each person took out the rice they had prepared early in the morning. The stories became lighter now. Fong talked about his family, about his young children waiting for their father to come home after each day of work. Dung talked about the first time he drove a truck carrying wood, the feeling of excitement and anxiety still imprinted in his mind. This job is hard, but in return I get a lot of things, Hong said, looking into the distance, where the newly cut tree trunks were neatly arranged. Looking at the harvested trees, I feel like I am contributing to building the future. As the afternoon fell, the work gradually finished. The large tree trunks were all cut down and transported. The posse continued to work, but the workload had greatly reduced. The sawing crew was tired, but their faces still glowed with satisfaction. Tan walked around the area, checking one last time to make sure nothing had been overlooked. Today's work had gone more smoothly than expected, and everyone worked with a spirit of solidarity and joy. Tomorrow we will continue working in another area, but today you guys did a great job, Tan said, his voice full of pride. As the last truck rolled out of the forest, the sawing crew looked at each other and smiled. They knew that although the work was difficult, thanks to the smooth coordination and solidarity, any challenge could be overcome. The sound of the ponce's saw gradually faded, giving way to the sounds of nature. Birds were still chirping, the sun was peeking through the trees, and the peaceful forest returned to its original beauty.